What's going on, everyone? This is Lior with Compass out of Boston, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the pros and the cons of house hacking a multifamily around the Boston area. So let's get at it. What's going on, everyone? My name's Lior and I'm with Compass out of Boston, and in this video we're going to go talk about all about the pros and the cons of house hacking a multifamily around the Boston area. Now, before we get into it, two quick things. Number one, if you guys haven't already subscribed to my channel, smash that subscribe button. I put out so many videos every single week all about living in Boston, the different neighborhoods, tips on buying, investing, etc. So smash that button and you will be notified every time I do a new video. And number two, if you guys are even thinking about doing anything with real estate, whether it's buying, whether it's selling, investing, whatever it is, send me a call, shoot me a text, shoot me an email, hit me up on Instagram, whatever it is, and I will take care of you. So let's get into today's content, which is of some of the pros and some of the cons of house hacking a multifamily. And before I get into that, I will say that is how I started my real estate investing journey, is by house hacking a multifamily. I am a huge believer in this path. I think it is the best path to get started in general for even if you're not going to be real estate investing full time. It's a great diversification of your portfolio. So I am all about the strategy. But there certainly are a number of pros, but certainly a number of cons you need to consider as well. So let's start with the pros. And the first pro, the most obvious one, is when you house hack a multifamily, right? Which is when you buy a 2 or a 3 family and you're going to live in one unit and rent out the other unit or two. You have a tenant or tenants helping you pay the mortgage, right? And a lot of the times, once you net out your extra additional income from the mortgage, that sum is typically a lot cheaper than than the cost of renting in the area or even buying a condo or a single family, right? So you do truly live for a lot cheaper. In Boston, because the market is so expensive, it's hard to live for what a lot of people call for free, right? Where your tenant's rent covers the entire mortgage. That doesn't really happen because prices are so high, but they will certainly cover quite a bit, and it'll definitely be cheaper than going to rent a place or buy a condo or single family. Number two, if you're thinking about house hacking and then you're planning on potentially moving out of the property in a year or two and keep it as a rental, that is a fantastic strategy, and multifamilies are really good for that. Even better than condos, right? Because on multifamilies, you can get higher returns. You're obviously going to be collecting income from instead of one unit, maybe 2 or even 3 units, right? Even though your mortgage payments are going to be a little higher, your returns are going to be much higher than if you were to buy a single condo at a time. So that's why I love it, right? And I've done that. I've moved out of some of my multifamilies that I've house hacked, and now they're producing some amazing returns. Which is obviously one of the goals in real estate investing. Number 3, if you are potentially considering buying more rental property in the future, again, you don't have to be a full-time investor to do this, right? You can be someone that's maybe thinking about just buying one property every year or so to just build out that portfolio slowly. The nice thing about house hacking is you learn a ton about the investing game, and you'll learn all about property management, landlord-tenant law. You learn about contractor management, different issues that arise in rental property right firsthand, right? Because you are going to be living in the property, so you will experience all of those issues firsthand. So obviously it sounds a little daunting, but all of those problems are actually fantastic lessons and can really be the base of your knowledge as you continue to potentially grow and expand your portfolio in the future. And finally, number 4, house hacking a multifamily also gives you a number of creative options. If you ever decide to sell, you can, of course, sell the property as a multifamily, but depending on the type of property, the exact location, you might have some more creative exit options, such as potentially converting the building into condos, which is really not as hard as it sounds. You get an attorney to help you out with that. and you might be able to sell off one unit, keep the other. Maybe you sell off all units, and that sum would be higher than it was if you were to sell it as one multifamily building. So, house hacking a multifamily really gives you a more creative exit options, which from an investment perspective is absolutely huge. Now, in terms of some of the cons, there are a couple of cons you need to be aware of. Number one, you are living on site with your tenants, right? Not everyone loves that idea. The people that are paying you rent are going to be walking by you probably a couple of times a week, maybe every day, depending on how it's laid out. So that's something that will take a little bit of time to get accustomed to, especially if they are more of the complaining type, or if they have other issues or whatever it is, right? So you just need to be aware that, hey, I'm going to be living with my tenants. It's not a terrible thing, but you're probably going to have to place some sort of boundaries and get very comfortable with that idea. The second con is when you buy a multifamily instead of a condo or a single family, you're also, in addition to buying up more income streams, right? Because you're buying 2 or 3 units, you're also taking on a greater maintenance responsibility and risk, right? Because the bigger the building, the more expensive the maintenance can be, right? So especially if you have to do things like roof, siding, you've got multiple furnaces, you've got multiple water tanks, multiple electrical panels, right? Your maintenance responsibility and overall risk definitely goes up, right? When I bought my first property, I had a furnace go out literally within a month of closing, which stinked, right? It was really bad. It cost quite a bit of money. So, you just have to be aware of that you're gonna have more maintenance you're gonna have more maintenance responsibility and issues. So something, budgeting reserves and having extra cash in your bank account is gonna be absolutely crucial if you're gonna go down this path. And then finally, number 3, in terms of a living perspective, the other downside with multifamily, if you're gonna buy a multifamily, is typically the condition of the property is gonna be worse than if you were gonna buy a condo. You could get a much nicer condo for obviously a much lower price. Whereas with multifamily, especially around the Boston area, a lot of these homes are super, super old, and a lot of them have been used as rental property. So they're not the most beautiful units, right? So, if you're going to be looking for something that's really nice, super turnkey, it's possible to find it in multifamilies, but you're going to be paying pretty heavy top dollar for it. But in general, again, your multifamily condition is going to be worse than your condo condition. So if that's something that's really important for you from a living perspective, just make sure you get very, very comfortable with that. So those are just some of the pros and the cons of house hacking around the Boston area. Like I said, I'm a strong believer in it, but I understand that there are obviously a lot of hesitations and things you need to account for. So if you guys have any questions, any comments, shoot them below. And like I said, guys, if you guys are even thinking about doing anything with real estate around the Boston area, whether it's investing, buying, selling, whatever it is, hit me up and I will help you out.